Spooky.
Yes.
Yeah, we finally got an intro.
Finally, we needed one bad.
Yeah, we did.
Ugh.
Yeah, thanks again, Rob.
Yes.
You're awesome.
Rob, thank you.
Got a dog hair on my
Done
microphone.
You've made our intro.
Yay.
Still trying to get the dog hair.
I did it.
Okay, we've done it. Did everyone have a good Halloween?
I hope so.
We did. We had a good Halloween.
Yeah, I had to work, as usual. But,
Yeah.
whatever.
Still good. The candy's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun working at a retail store.
It's going to see all the candy.
Yeah, it turns over and then you're like, oh, look, candy's 50% off. Wonder what I'm going to spend this paycheck on.
You can't go too overboard, okay?
It's already all gone. It takes like 2 days
and
for
you
it to
didn't
disappear.
get me anything.
What? There's Christmas candy. Do you want Christmas candy?
Yes.
Because, of course, we take down Halloween and fuck Thanksgiving. Let's do Christmas. I mean, Christmas was set out in the garden center like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago.
Jeez. Earlier and earlier. Every year.
I keep saying one of these days it's just going to be Christmas all year round. Like, we're just we're gonna set up the Christmas and then they're gonna be like, you know what, just don't take it down this year.
Well, then it's gonna be acceptable. I will accept year-round Christmas stores.
I'll accept year-round Christmas if I get a year-round Spirit Halloween store.
They have stuff like that.
Where?
Oregon?
If you say Spencer's Gifts, I will slap you.
I was gonna say Oregon.
Where in Oregon? Where are these magical places that you speak of? And how have I not been there?
The only town I've been in Oregon.
Is it that one place that you and Mikey took me to? That one store? No, probably not, because that was like a really tiny store and it just had like crystals, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. That was so long ago.
I have no fucking idea.
Anyways, this is another nightmare.
It's like 2013 when I was there last.
You just ruined my intro.
This is another nightmare. Got it.
I'm Danny.
I'm Brian.
Yay! We're back for episode 5.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're
Milestone.
already on episode 5. Whoop whoop.
Yes. What's this one about? Sorry, I'm not going to do that.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Questions.
So, have you ever thought about what to do with a body after death? Like,
personally?
I'm not saying like if you murder a person. I'm saying
because
like
I was gonna say a bunch.
No, but like.
No, not technically, because it gets taken care of for me. I hope.
Well, yeah, but like, you got to pick out a plot and all of that. If you're going to be buried, you got to set up for cremation. If you're going to do that.
Tree.
I know
gonna be
you
a tree.
wanted. Okay. We're going to talk about the Paris Catacombs.
Oh. That was different. I thought we were going in a different direction. Start bringing up bodies and stuff. I was like,
I like talking about dead bodies. I like talking about dead things. I like talking about weird shit.
Good.
So how much do you know about the history of the Paris Catacombs?
Not a bunch. Little to none. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, little to none.
So you know that they're located in Paris, France.
What? Not Paris, Indiana? Sorry. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, there. Yeah. Okay.
I was just shocked that you knew that there was a Paris, Indiana. Is it Indiana?
I have no idea. I was
I don't
guessing.
know. I know that there's a Paris somewhere. Is it
Well,
Georgia?
I bet you there's a Paris in a lot of places.
Probably.
But Paris, France.
Because, yeah, when we weren't naming our towns Moundsville. But when we weren't using uncreative names like that, we were just stealing names from Europe.
Well, why not?
New York.
York.
New Jersey. It's
Jersey.
the new version of Jersey. New England. We're so creative.
Where is it?
We're so smart. So, the city of Paris lies in what is referred to as like the Paris Basin.
Okay.
So this area is a bowl-like shape that was created by millennia of sea immersion and erosion. So kind of like the Salt Lake Valley that I've told you about like 10 billion times because that's where I grew up.
Yes.
You know, how it was created by Lake Bonneville, and that's why it's like just this big bowl, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same deal. So Paris was created, the Paris Basin was created because it spent like much of its geological history under the sea. Under the sea. But as time went on, the area began to become increasingly elevated. You know, how the world works, like how the earth was formed, like...
Shit moves.
Yeah, you know, plate tectonics and all of that shit.
Yeah, that stuff.
From like
Ice melts.
From like 7th grade science that I like half paid attention to because I am not a scientifically inclined person. So the majority of it was like, what?
I like my term shit moves.
Yeah.
We'll
go with that.
It's good. It's hearty.
So after this, the area rotated between being filled with seawater, fresh water, and no water.
Okay.
So it was just like this constant rotation.
All right. Wow, that's really
throughout the
interesting.
millennia.
I did not know that.
All of this sea activity brought in different sediments, of course, which created an abundance of different geological strata filled with many different types of minerals. You know, so like when you look at a hillside, how it has all the lines in it, and that's all like the geological strata that like tells the story of like the history of how that area was formed over time with different sediments and minerals and yeah, really cool stuff. If I was
looking rocks,
if I was more scientifically inclined, I definitely would have been a geologist because rocks are cool.
Hell yeah!
Why are you laughing at me?
I think you're smart.
I'm smart, but I'm not scientifically inclined smart.
Oh.
Science doesn't make sense, neither do numbers. So I'm not mathematically smart either. I'm just smart on retaining information that nobody needs ever for any reason.
I need it.
So, the most important of the sedimentary materials that were brought into the Paris Basin throughout this time was minerals called, I think it's called Lutein limestone.
Okay.
And gypsum, which was used to produce plaster of Paris. Which plaster of Paris is a building material used for the protective or decorative coating of walls and ceilings and for molding and casting decorative elements. So I've heard plaster of Paris throughout tons of like history. Like plaster of Paris was used to create a lot of historical like places and stuff like that, but I never understood like what plaster of Paris is. And essentially it's plaster made of gypsum from Paris.
Okay. You know what? Good name.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then you've got the Lutein limestone.
Right.
That is like, you know, we love making things out of limestone.
Yep, we sure do.
Limestone is very important. So sometime between 250 and 225 BCE, the area became inhabited by a Celtic tribe. Sorry.
You got it.
By a Celtic tribe known as Parisi, I believe is what they were called. Then between 58 and 53 BCE, Julius Caesar went on his campaign in Gaul looking to annex the region.
Hell yeah.
You know all about that.
I do.
You are a Roman fanatic.
We don't... Yeah.
Hey, it's okay.
I just like it.
You have that, like, one general area that you really like to focus on, and then there's me, Miss Scatterbrain, and I just want to know everything about history, and so I know nothing about history. I know a lot of random facts. I don't know a lot about one era.
Yeah. I know a little bit.
I mostly just study the fucking mythologies, because that shit just fascinates me too much.
It really does.
What is that supposed to mean?
The Scientology show that we're watching.
Oh, yeah. I'm just fascinated by people and their religious beliefs. I don't have religious beliefs, so ergo, it's fascinating to me that people have them.
Oh, man.
Anyways, so in 52 BCE, the Parisi were defeated and the Gallo-Roman garrison town of Lutia was established.
Okay.
As the occupying Romans began building in the area, they began mining for the Lutian limestone and gypsum using open-air quarries during the 1st century Common Era.
Oh, all right.
So, it was easier for them to mine using the open-air method, just finding a spot and then digging it out, rather than trying to, like, do the tunnels and stuff, because tunnels are really...
Scurry.
Yeah.
They're scurry.
Unpredictable.
But, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Due to the centuries of erosion with both wind and water, there was striation patterns of the precious minerals exposed on the hillsides. So the miners would then follow these striations and begin digging out the mineral at the surface and then follow along as best they could from the top down.
Okay.
So, you just locate the spot and then you start digging and you keep digging until you can't get any more.
Yeah.
Totally essentially. Dry. It's kind of like, God, coming back to Utah because that's all I fucking know apparently. But it's kind of like the copper mine in Utah. Like the Kennecott copper mine, the biggest copper mine in the world that you can see from space. Super famous copper mine. If you're from Utah, no big deal. Whatever. It's just a giant hole in a mountain. But essentially that's an open air copper mine. And so it's like a huge dugout pit. And basically, yeah, they found copper and then they just kept digging for copper and just kept finding more and more.
Dang.
It's huge.
I want to look at it from space.
Supposedly you can. Supposedly it's one of the things that you can see from space. That's what I was told all through my life growing up. I've never looked it up to confirm or whatever, because I don't care.
Well, guess what we're doing after the podcast?
So as time went on, Lutia grew and eventually the Roman legions left as the Western Empire began to decline.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool for once.
They all had to retreat back to Rome because shit was falling apart.
Yeah,
so.
It was big time. So it was probably, when was it in time-wise? Probably around...
I didn't write it down.
Well, now you know what to do for next time.
Be smarter.
It's probably in the 400s.
I would say so, because after this, the area was occupied by the Franks.
Oh, I know the Franks.
Yeah, that's when they came into the area.
Hell yeah.
They helped kind of push the Roman legions out of the area.
Okay, and then they just kind of established...
Yeah, and then in 508, their king, Clovis I, made Paris his capital.
Hell yeah. So he made Francia.
Mm-hmm. This was the start of Francia.
I like that name better.
I know. Well, I mean... I guess, like, in the French language, it's probably, like, closer. I don't know. I don't know French.
Yeah, me either. But I like Francia.
Yeah. So then the city grew more and more. And by the Middle Ages, it was the largest city in Europe and an important religious and commercial center.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Paris was major.
Definitely.
Like, their biggest competition was the Holy Roman Empire.
Oh, it's pretty good competition.
Yeah, and they had some competition with England. Like, that was, like, their biggest enemy was England.
Right.
But their biggest competition for overall power was definitely the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay.
And that's why, for a time, there were two popes.
Oh, I forget about the two pope thing. Oh, man.
It's
forget about that.
The Pope wasn't doing what the King of France wanted, so he was like, fuck you, I have my own Pope. And then they kept excommunicating each other, and it was just a fucking mess.
You're excommunicated. No, you're excommunicated.
You can't excommunicate me.
Tell him I told him he's excommunicated.
So yeah, good times. Good times. Two popes. The University of Paris was organized in the 13th century and was one of the first in Europe.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
It was around this time that the stones that were being pilfered from the abandoned ruins to build new structures were just totally depleted, and the city needed new mines for building material.
Okay.
They began opening new mines farther away from the city center, and were now using underground mining methods almost exclusively. Underground mining had been a thing leading up to this, but it was very sparse, and those mines had mostly been forgotten.
Okay.
So there were established underground mines, but as the city grew, and I mean, they got a little lazy and were just pilfering stone instead of resourcing new stone.
Right.
Which, I mean, reuse and recycle.
Yeah.
Way to keep it green.
Yeah.
These
was definitely on their minds.
Oh yeah. For sure. 100%. These mines were mainly focused on the left bank, since it was focused on the left bank, since that's where the limestone was located.
Okay.
If I could speak, it would be a lot more easier. Anyways, so they were mostly focused on the left bank, since that's where the limestone was most abundant, and the city center had been moved to the right bank during the 10th century.
All right.
These new mining operations helped the city grow even more. They suffered the bubonic plague during the 14th century, and then the 100 Years' War during the 15th century. During the 16th century, the city became the book publishing capital of Europe, while also dealing with the French wars of religion between the Catholics and the Protestants.
Bam! That was fucking brutal.
Yes. By the 16th century, Paris had expanded well past its 13th century walls and had began building over the top of the old mines that were now long abandoned.
Okay.
Not knowing the extent of the undermining, Paris continued to expand across the left bank and continued adding more and more buildings and roadways. So they just kept piling it on top of those abandoned mines.
Holy shit.
Then, in December 1774, the first of the major mine collapses happened when about 30 meters, or 100 feet, of roadway collapsed.
Oh.
That's a lot of roadway.
That's a big amount.
This led to two different divisions of architects being tasked with reinforcing the mines that ran around under the city. The first was created almost immediately following the disaster by the Royal Council, and they were sent to repair the ground under the royal buildings.
Okay.
So every road and building that was important to the Royal Council, they immediately were like, we have to reinforce this, because it was like the main roadway that led to one of the main like areas for the Royal Council that collapsed. So immediately they were like, oh my God, we could die. We could have died. We have to take care of us. The second of the divisions was created by Louis XVI on April 4th, 1777, following more major collapses.
Oh, dang it.
The Department of General Quarry Inspection became responsible for maintaining and stabilizing all of the quarries under the city.
Okay, good.
This seemed to happen at a perfect time, as Paris was suffering from something much, much worse than the collapse of the underground mines.
Yeah?
So everything that we've talked about so far, with the growth and the expansion of the city, led to a lot of people living in Paris over the centuries. Right? And as we mentioned, they also dealt with the plague and a lot of wars.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of bodies.
Well, eventually they'll pile up.
That need to be buried, right? So this means that the cemeteries were becoming too full by the 18th century.
Okay.
So let's talk about these cemeteries for a bit. The move over to the right bank began sometime in the 4th century, but it was difficult because the area was kind of marshy.
Okay.
Then during the 10th century, a bunch of words are stupid.
Ecclesiastical?
Sure.
I don't know.
Religious landowners.
Okay.
They began to fill in the marshland, and people were able to move into the area at a faster rate.
Okay.
So they were starting to come over to the right bank a lot faster because these rich landowners were filling in the marsh specifically to have land to themselves that they needed farmers for.
Okay.
And whatever they do, you know. This also led to a shift in the disposal of the dead. Before this, most burial grounds were kept outside of the city. But with this rapid growth of the city and the founding of several churches, it led to the dead being buried closer to the center of the city. Then it was also easier for mourners to come and, do their thing.
Their loved ones.
Yeah. So the most central of these cemeteries was called Saint Innocents and was the city's most popular cemetery.
Okay.
By the end of the 12th century, the principal Parisian marketplace, Les Halles, was established next to this cemetery, which was already overflowing.
Dang.
Yeah, this was the main marketplace of Paris, right next to an overflowing cemetery.
So you go down, get your turnips, look to your left, and be like, there's a leg. I should leave.
Well, not that. So, at this point, the cemetery already needed more room for burials.
Right.
So they began exhuming the older bodies and packing the bones into the roofs and walls of galleries built inside the cemetery and inside the church. They continued cramming the dead into the cemetery, and by the 18th century, the burial ground had been built up by about 6.6 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
And was absolutely packed to bursting with bodies.
Oh.
So they brought in extra dirt to continue burying the bodies because there was no fucking room.
They're making like towers, like dirt towers of bodies, dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think that's going to end well.
Of course, with this overcrowded cemetery being directly next to the most important marketplace, disease became an issue.
Yeah.
Complaints of the smell of rotting flesh began circulating around the entire neighborhood, and even perfume shops claimed they couldn't make any sales due to the stench. Perfume shops, the ones that are supposed to help cover up the smell, can't even do business because it's so permeated in the area.
Oh, no.
By 1763, the complaints were so numerous that Louis XV issued an edict banning all burials from occurring inside the city.
Okay.
There were requests to move the existing bodies from the cemeteries, but due to pushback from the church, nothing else was done about it.
Of course. The church.
Well, I mean, you don't want to disturb the dead. Let them lie.
Turn them into trees.
There's not enough room.
Make the room. They brought in dirt. They can make more room, and then I don't know if they. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn it into trees.
I like what they did way better though.
Oh, okay.
So, over a decade, people continued to complain about the issue.
Yeah.
So, Louis XVI championed the cause and was working towards a solution when he came into power, after his father, the 15th, passed.
Right.
As we mentioned, he started the project of reinforcing the underground mines in 1777. Then, in 1780, a prolonged period of rain caused the retaining walls surrounding St. Innocents to collapse, which caused rotting corpses to spill into the surrounding neighborhood. Just an avalanche of dead bodies.
Imagine waking up to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
Imagine being caught in that.
Well, I don't think it was like a rushing flow.
Let me.
Okay. Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Swept away with the dead.
You said avalanche? All I'm seeing is a person just.
But this incident finally pushed the church to agree to do something about the overcrowded cemeteries, and St. Innocents was closed.
Well, it looks bad,
Yeah, it's pretty bad PR when bodies are just spilling into the street. Yeah. The bodies began being excavated from the cemetery in 1786 and were moved during the night to avoid angering the citizens.
Okay. Yep.
They were taken in a procession, observing religious rituals with a priest following with carts. So they would load all these bodies onto the carts, and then they had priests there.
Just chanting and praying. And stuff.
Doing whatever prayer rituals that they were supposed to do to keep the dead from being upset about being moved.
Yeah.
They were taken to 2 quarry wells and dumped in piles.
Oh, come on.
So what's the point of doing the whole religious, having them follow along and do their chants and their songs and whatever, to just then get there and just be like, well, heave-ho, down a well you go.
Oh, man.
It took until 1814, with some breaks in the middle for, things like, just the French Revolution and the rise of Napoleon. Just small things.
Oh. Yeah.
But it took until 1814 for all 6 million bodies to be moved.
6 million?
2 million of which came from St. Innocents alone. That's how many bodies were crammed into those cemeteries.
Oh.
So from 1780 until 1814, they moved 6 million bodies into the underground tunnels of Paris. And just threw them in big old heaping piles.
Oh, man. Brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
A little bit.
I love it.
But speaking of Napoleon, while he was in power, he commissioned a vast number of public works projects, including renovations of the quarries where the bodies had been moved.
Okay.
He commissioned the Inspector General of the quarries. Okay. I'm not good at speaking, so here we go.
Let's get it.
Louis Hector de Thury? Sure. Close enough? Sorry, French people. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think we have like one French listener, and to you, I'm so sorry.
They're going to be...
They're going to hate me after this episode. I'm so sorry. But anyways, he commissioned this man to organize and refurbish the quarry tunnels into a tourist attraction like the catacombs in Rome.
Oh, so he's... Okay.
Yeah, because Rome had their long existing catacombs that at this point, like, people were going to Rome, like, even prior to the 18th century, they were going to Rome and touring these catacombs.
Oh, wow. So
they were well established.
Okay. Well, might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Napoleon wanted to kind of do a similar thing.
All right.
Because, again, he just wanted to emulate Rome. Just like everybody since Rome just wants to emulate Rome. And
it goes really well in the end, let me tell you.
Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Bonaparte.
I said it right. Don't mind my stutter. So then this guy, I'm not going to try to say his name again because that was a disaster.
I thought it was well done.
He directed his men. Shut up. He directed his men to begin arranging the piles of bones into ossuary decorations.
What a fun guy.
Right?
All right.
They lined the walls with tibias and femurs and punctuated them with the skulls.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. All of the remaining...
Gotta love the creativity.
Yeah, I guess. All of the remaining bones, mostly small fragments, as a consequence of literally being dumped into the quarry, were filled in behind the displays.
Okay.
They created arrangements with the bones in shapes such as hearts and circles.
Aww.
They also put in commemorative plaques and carved arrows into the ceilings to help direct people visiting the ossuary.
That's the only part I'm down for.
But this guy, he kind of, I guess he had like some kind of morbid sense of humor. So he definitely,
hell yeah.
He definitely would have fit in with today's crowd, you know, people like me. But he commissioned like a plaque to put over the entrance that is like, this is, oh God, I can't remember what it says. Because of course I didn't write it down.
Danny.
But it's something like, this is like the realm of the dead, or, you know, whatever.
He's not lying.
He's not. For real not, though. For real. Scary.
Scary. Oh, it's a spook.
So before we continue from here, I would like to point out a couple of terms that I think are going to be important moving forward.
Okay.
So according to the official website for the catacombs, which is catacombs.paris.fr, if anybody's interested.
Source.
The term Paris Catacombs, which was originally given to the ossuary, is now applied to all of the quarries under the city.
Oh, okay.
So when people say the Paris Catacombs, they could be talking about the actual like ossuary that you can go and tour, or they can be talking about the abandoned tunnels.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think from here we're gonna call the ossuary. So where all the bones are displayed, we'll refer to as the ossuary, and we'll refer to the remaining tunnels as the catacombs.
I accept.
Let's just establish that right now, that if I say catacombs, I'm talking about abandoned tunnels. If I say the ossuary, that's where the bones are all contained. Well, mostly contained. That's where the bones are arranged in the ossuary patterns that you can go and visit.
Good job. You got through that well.
I did. I only stuttered a couple of times.
They won't notice.
You say that. The catacombs have been used for more than just housing the dead.
Okay.
During World War II, both the French resistance and the Nazis used the tunnels.
Oh.
Of course the Nazis did. They loved secret tunnels. That was like their big thing. God, fucking losers. Sorry.
No, they're losers.
There have been many clandestine meetings and political coups planned and orchestrated using the network of tunnels.
I love it.
Many illegal parties have been thrown in the tunnels.
Oh, I want to go party in the tunnels.
I know, it sounds so cool. On April 2nd, 1897, a group of musicians... My mouth wanted to say magicians, but it's musicians.
Magic.
Musicians is way cooler than magicians.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah. They're equal.
Sure. But so on April 2nd, 1897, a group of musicians put on a very illegal concert in the catacombs for about 100 people.
Hell yeah.
Which would have been the coolest thing ever.
Dude, Back to 1897?
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of music it was.
It was like ironic music, so it was things that were titled like Death March and things like that.
Yeah, but what I wanted to talk about instruments, like what they play.
Oh, probably orchestra music.
Yeah, probably.
In 2004,
Jazz would have been cool.
Was Jazz even... Jazz wasn't even around.
No, not at all.
Why was I going to ask, was Jazz even around? I know better than that. I did a whole course in college on the history of rock and roll.
Don't make me jealous.
It was super cool, and it was the only class that I really focused and did well in. Which is why I still don't have a college degree.
Okay.
So, in 2004, police were sent into the tunnels for a training exercise. And they found an underground cinema, complete with an informal restaurant and bar.
Oh my God.
None of the films were banned, nor particularly offensive, and there weren't any signs of it being used as headquarters for any extremist group.
Did they find people there?
No.
Or they just found, okay.
They just found this cinema.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was a professionally installed electrical system with 3 phone lines. So, 3 days after the discovery, the police returned with experts from the electricity board.
Oh, no.
So they found that the lines had all been cut, and there was a note on the floor that said, "Do not try to find us."
Oh.
Later, Patrick Alk, a photographer who has published a book on urban underground exploration and claims to be close to the group who created this underground cinema, said the cavern's discovery was, quote, "a shame, but not the end of the world." He said
it was a shame. It's badass.
Well, it was a shame that it was found. Is what he's saying.
Definitely.
It's not a shame that it happened. He knew this group of people who had established this cinema.
Okay.
And so he was saying that it was a shame that the cops discovered it.
Definitely.
But it wasn't the end of the world. He went on to say, quote, "a dozen more, that there were a dozen more where that one came from. And you guys have no idea what's down there."
I want to go.
There's a huge thing of people going into these underground tunnels. Many people have actually died down in the catacombs over the centuries.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
not just the dead being left there, but like literally people have died inside the catacombs.
Okay.
Creepy.
Spookers.
Yay. So, there were some murders and some executions that were conducted down in the tunnels, especially during the French Revolution.
That makes sense.
Many others have been lured down into the tunnels by people looking to cause them harm, and then were either killed or just abandoned in the snaking darkness. Nothing quite like getting robbed and then left to die in a dark tunnel.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking rude. I watched some videos of people, like, walking through these tunnels on YouTube.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like...
Are they big tunnels?
Some parts.
Oh, man.
Some parts you kind of have to crawl through. Some parts are wet. Some parts are big enough that you can walk with a group. It's just... Yeah, one guy, he got lost in there for like 3 hours. Like, he legitimately was filming and like got lost on this one video I was watching.
Ugh.
And like, he finally found a way out and was just like, oh my God, I thought I was going to die.
Ugh.
He only intended to be down there for like a half an hour.
Oh, maybe I don't want to go.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. It was even reported to be a dumping ground for Parisian serial killers.
Oh.
So, I didn't find any specifics about these Parisian serial killers, but I know that you also don't like talking about serial killers and true crime, so I didn't want to go.
And just don't go into depth.
Well, and you know me, if I get into the rabbit hole of serial killers, that's all I'm going to talk about for like days and days. Because I am a true crime fan.
Yeah.
And you, not so much.
No.
And that's okay. And that's why we don't cover true crime on this show, in case anybody's been wondering, is because it kind of gives Brian the willies.
No.
Hey, it's totally okay. Like, no shame.
No, it's just I feel bad for people.
No, I know. You have a lot of empathy, and that's admirable.
It's fucked up. People shouldn't do that to people.
We don't need to talk about it. It's fine.
Kill them!
Moving on. So, there is a large community of people known as cataphiles.
Ooh.
That spend their time down in the catacombs exploring and having fun.
That sounds pretty fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun, but it also sounds extremely scary.
Yeah.
Just because I'm lightly claustrophobic. I'm only claustrophobic when it's dark.
It's the cat.
Exactly. These people have an extensive knowledge of their preferred areas of the tunnels, but are still at risk of getting lost or running into others who are not friendly. There are also reports of some of these cataphiles entering the catacombs through one of their secret entrances, and the cops in charge of keeping people out of the tunnels blocking off the exit and sealing the person inside by accident.
Ugh. No.
Yeah. There are many bodies in the catacombs that may not have been part of the original relocation project and are vastly more recent, yet nobody would be able to tell.
Dang.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun.
Because there are still abandoned piles of bones in these catacombs. Like, you can see them if you go down into these illegal parts of the tunnels. Which I should mention, the catacombs that we've been talking about, these abandoned tunnels, it has been illegal to go down there since like 1950 something.
Oh, okay.
I think. So yeah, definitely not okay to do it.
Let's go.
Maybe. One of the earliest reported deaths to take place in the catacombs was a man named Philibert Asper.
I thought that was pretty good to me. Don't know if it's right, but it sounded pretty good to me.
He had been working as a doorman at the Val de Grace Hospital at the time of his disappearance in November 1793. He was found 11 years later in the catacombs by a group of cataphiles. They were able to identify him by his key ring from the hospital. No one really knows why he had gone down into the tunnels, but the popular story is that he heard rumors of a stash of fine liquor at a local convent and went to find it.
My man.
He only took one candle with him and climbed down into the catacombs from an access point in the hospital. It is believed that his candle had gone out and it led him to become hopelessly lost in the dark until eventually he died. Supposedly, he was found only a few feet from the entrance with a bottle of that famous liquor he was searching for.
Well, now I don't know what to believe.
He was buried where they had found him in the catacombs, and he is now considered the protector of the cataphiles.
All right.
He has been reported to lead lost people out of the tunnels and to prevent them from suffering his same fate.
Damn. What a guy.
Right?
What a guy.
You want to know how I figured out how to say his name?
Yes?
He is featured on Assassin's Creed Unity.
What?
I know you've been playing that game, and I've been trying to tell you about it, but I couldn't tell you.
What? Am I not far enough?
No, not yet.
Son of a... We're done with the podcast.
No, it's like a side mission where you like have to try to find out who killed him.
I want to play.
And
this is so cool. This is the kind of shit I live for, because this is a nice story. It's not nice that he died, but it's nice that he's helping people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to clarify.
But yeah, he's one of the guys that supposedly haunts the tunnels, and he will help you if you get lost.
God damn. Can you say his name again?
Philibert Asper.
Hell yeah. Philibert.
Another legend of the catacombs states that if you are in there after midnight, the walls will begin to speak.
Oh, I so want to go. Oh, man.
The voices will beckon you deeper and deeper into the catacombs until you become lost and disoriented and cannot find your way out.
Fuck.
This may be linked to one of the creepiest tales from the underground labyrinth.
I'm so excited.
Sometime in the late 90s, a group of cataphiles came across a moldy old video camera in one of the tunnels. They retrieved the tape and found a scary video that only ran for about a minute and a half. The video was a POV perspective, so point of view perspective shot, and it seems to be a man walking around in the tunnels. He was exploring and looking at some of the discarded piles of bones, and then he continues to move through the tunnels. Eventually, the man seems to start moving quicker and seems to begin to panic. His breathing quickens, and he starts moving faster and faster and more frantically. He then begins running, turning down tunnels at random. Just full-on sprint. He then drops the camera into a puddle and continues running off-screen, never to be seen again.
Oh, man.
The original tapes seem to have strange and disturbing noises that seem to cause this man's panic. No trace of the man in the tape has ever been found to this day, and no one knows what happened to him. Because there's no view of his face, and really all you see is his boots as he's running away.
Right.
Nobody knows who this man is. Some people say that there was some sort of paranormal entity chasing him. Skeptics call the video a fake because it only surfaced in 2000 in a documentary that aired on Fox, and no one seems to have seen the original tape. I spent a good 4 hours trying to find the original tape.
Damn.
But all I could find was clips from this documentary. And the clips from this documentary are super fucking creepy.
Okay.
So there is a chance that this tape
could be fabricated?
Yeah.
Okay. Still creepy as hell.
Yeah, either way the tale is creepy. And what you can see on the video in the documentary is just, it's really unsettling.
Okay.
Because from what you can see, it's literally, he's just fine. He's kind of looking at bones. He picks up a couple.
Shouldn't touch them.
And then you kind of see another clip where he's kind of walking down this tunnel, and there's this creepy painting on the wall that some tagger has done.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's panicking and running. And then all of a sudden the video camera just drops on its side, and then you just kind of see his boots run off into the distance as he's panic running. It's really creepy to watch.
Ugh.
But this mysterious video may have also inspired the movie As Above, So Below.
Love that movie. Highly recommended. I'm making you watch it now.
I know, I have to.
Yep, now you have to.
I know.
We're gonna watch it tonight.
Not tonight.
Yep.
Rude. I want to watch this stupid documentary we've been watching.
It hurts my feelings.
So, a more recent story happened in 2017.
Ooh.
2 teenagers were lost in the catacombs for 3 days before being found and taken to a hospital. They were treated for hypothermia, which is actually a really big risk in these tunnels because, like I said, sometimes there's water in these tunnels and they're damp and cold, and they're
sunlight.
They're super far underground too. And it's not known how these kids got down there. Because you're not able to access these greater paths of tunnels from the ossuary.
Okay.
Everything is completely sealed off in that tourist area. So you can't, it's not like you can buy a ticket and go down and then explore abandoned tunnels. Like, you have to find outside entrances to get down into these tunnels. And so nobody really knows how they got down there. And from my understanding, the teens were also extremely frightened and refused to talk about their time in the tunnels at all.
Oh, dang.
They wouldn't say how they got there, what happened to them while they were there. I mean, they were lost in the dark for 3 days.
Traumatic as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Ugh.
They're extremely lucky to have been found alive.
Yeah. I would go into a tunnel, but I would not go more than 100 feet.
Yeah.
And I would not take any turns.
Unless I had, like, a friend that was, like, an experienced cataphile that, like, knew where we were going at all times. Like, I don't know if I would want to go very far.
Yeah, no, not very far at all.
Yeah, I want to, you know, straight line, no turns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to experience it and just to kind of, like, be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I'm not good with directions. I'm not good with directions above ground.
Oh, dark. Oh.
Supposedly, in these tunnels, people have stumbled across evidence of satanic rituals. There are rumors that... What?
I thought you were going to say Hail Satan.
I was really tempted to yell Hail Satan because it's a lie. There was no evidence. No, there was probably evidence of satanic rituals.
Yeah.
Devil worshippers.
Well, I mean, what's the perfect spot?
It is. It's the perfect amount of creepy. And, you know, why not bring the occult into it and blame satanic people? There are also rumors that cultists steal bodies from morgues and take them down into the catacombs to perform evil rituals with them.
I wonder what that means.
They then dispose of the bodies alongside the many piles of bones just left all around the tunnels. Nobody would find the body afterwards. Because you just leave it in a pile of bones and it'll eventually turn into a pile of bones itself.
Yeah. It's despicable.
There also may be links to some sort of cult that worships the old ones from H.P. Lovecraft, which you know that is my shit.
Yeah.
He will rise. I only found this in one place, and it was slightly hinted at on another odd website that I scanned, but there really wasn't much, so I don't know how valid the claim is about this H.P. Lovecraft cult using the tunnels.
Right.
I also don't really know the truth about these satanic rituals or the cultists stealing bodies from the morgue. These are just rumors.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see how people may want to leave something behind that looks like a satanic ritual, because I know that's like a thing that some teenagers like to do, because they like to be like, oh, I'm so dark and edgy, I'm just gonna paint, you know, these upside down crosses and a pentagram, and then people will think I'm a Satanist. Not speaking from experience or anything.
Yeah, you are.
Many spirits are thought to wander the underground tunnels, believed to be the restless souls of those moved from their original resting place.
Yeah. That would do it.
Yeah. People report feeling someone touch them or grab their hands in clothes. Some have even claimed to be strangled by an unseen entity. People also report seeing faces in the walls. Gross.
Well, that's... Yeah.
Not where the skulls are, like just on the walls.
I understand.
These may be intentional carvings made in the stone during the organization of the ossuary, or it's possibly just a trick of the light.
It could be, yeah.
Could be either one. Electronic equipment seems to have issues in the catacombs, and batteries are known to die rather quickly.
Freaking ghosties.
Leave my batteries alone. Countless numbers of orbs and spirits have been captured in photos and videos.
Ooh.
both in the ossuary and the overall catacombs.
Yeah, well, I would suspect both.
You can visit the catacombs. I was going to give pricing information here, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to know before you go to the catacombs, especially with the COVID thing and everything that's going on in the world right now. If you are interested in going to the catacombs, I highly recommend you go to the official website, which is catacombs.paris.fr, because they have all sorts of information about where the tour starts, where it ends, how you get tickets, pricing information, how long you're expected to be down there, the average temperature, stuff like that. They have all of that information that you need. The tour does take approximately 45 minutes, and the exit is in a different location from the entrance. So you don't exit and enter in the same spot.
That's the best. Because you're always seeing new shit.
Yeah. So you really should just go to the website and check it out to find out all that information. And then, like I said, with the whole COVID thing going on, you want to be safe. You want to protect other people around you and be responsible. So definitely go to the website and check it out if you are interested in going at any time soon.
Hell yeah, babe. That's awesome.
And that's the Paris Catacombs.
Thank you so much for telling me about this, because I didn't know that much. I knew that there was I knew that they had to move bodies and put them in there, and that it was just filled, but I didn't know that there was actually two spots, like the ossuary and the actual tunnels. I didn't know they were separate.
Yeah, for the longest time, I thought that the Paris Catacombs were literally just the way that Parisians buried their dead. I didn't know that it was a whole separate thing of like, no, these bodies had been buried at cemeteries and were exhumed and brought to this area. And then I didn't know that there was like a whole expanse of tunnels and stuff. It wasn't until I started listening to other podcasts that I started to learn more about the Paris Catacombs, and I was like, oh wait, there's so much more to this than I thought that there ever would be.
Yeah.
And now I want to go so bad.
Me too. I definitely want to take the tours.
Yeah.
And I want to go to both. I want to see the ossuary and the tunnels, because
the tunnels are going to be a lot harder to see.
Yeah.
The ossuary, you just pay and you get to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of, though, be respectful when you're in the ossuary. This goes out to everybody. Those are real human beings that were put in there.
Yeah.
There are spots where there are skulls missing along the walls, and it's because people literally took that skull home. They literally grabbed it.
I hope they're fucking haunted.
And they stole a human skull and took it home.
Damn.
The catacombs had to close down temporarily in 2009, I think it was, because people were stealing the skulls. So, just gonna put this out there.
Respect the damn catacombs.
Be a fucking respectful human being and realize that those are human beings that once lived and had families and were people too. I know that they're long dead, and I know that I talk a lot about dead bodies and being obsessed, but I'm not going to steal a human skull because I'm not a monster. I just thought I would throw that PSA out there.
Doesn't make sense.
People are not nice sometimes.
Seriously. What the fuck?
There's other ways to get souvenirs.
That did not sound suspicious.
I'm not encouraging people to steal human remains.
Good.
At all. Like, literally, there are shops where you can buy things and you can take photographs.
Yeah, or you can just remember it because it's a good experience.
Or that.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
The Paris Catacombs.
I can't wait to have this travel ban lifted so that we can go to Paris and we can go see these things.
Seriously. Oh. That's the only thing
I know.
I'll go to Paris for.
I know, you don't really want to go to Paris. I have a lot of stuff I want to see in Paris.
I don't have the big fascination that a lot of people do.
I just have a fascination with historical architecture.
I would want to go to the spots where Hitler went.
That's rude.
I don't think that's rude. I think that's historical.
Well, yeah, you like World War II.
So?
I'm just saying.
I think it would be weird or surreal. I'll say that. It would be surreal to be in those spots.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm respectful, so I wouldn't be taking pictures for like Instagram or anything. I would just be there.
Yeah, no, you don't really post on Instagram anyways.
No.
That's why we don't shout out your social medias, because you're never on there.
Oh, shit. I give a shit more about our podcast social media than my social media.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Anyways, Rob.
Thank you so much.
I hope everybody likes the intro, because we do.
Yeah, let us know what you think of the new intro. I hope you guys like it. Rob worked really hard on it, and thank you so much, Rob. I would like to give you guys his information to look him up, but I forgot to get it.
We'll hopefully have it by next episode.
Yeah, next episode we'll definitely have something more specific where you guys can find him. But he's awesome. Thank you so much again, Rob. It's so awesome. I'm so excited to have an intro now. And it's so creepy.
Check out our Instagram. It's Another Nightmare Podcast.
Yeah, Instagram,
That's
Twitter.
awesome.
You can search us there. Just search for Another Nightmare Podcast. You'll find us on Instagram and Twitter. You can look for me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at ofakya. That's OFAKYA. If you're interested, I'm kind of sort of getting back into posting, but I get so wrapped up in the podcast social medias that I forget about my own. I'm trying though.
Hell yeah, baby.
But yeah, we are still looking for listener stories because we still don't have any.
Yeah. But we think we're going to throw in some homegrown stories.
Yeah, I think next week we're going to throw in some of our personal experiences and encounters with the paranormal. Just so that we can get the ball rolling, because I really want to share encounter stories because they're fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to
They're very exciting.
Yeah, it's fun to hear people's creepy experiences because, like, they're creepy.
Yeah, I don't give a shit if they're fake or not.
I mean, I kind of care about the legitimately.
I like the fun.
Well, yeah, like creepypastas are fun.
Yeah.
But we might do an episode one of these times where we just read creepypastas to each other. Because creepypastas are dope.
Hell yeah, I'm down.
But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think. You can always email us, anothernightmarepod@gmail.com. That's where we would like you to send in your encounter stories, your personal experiences with the paranormal. Anothernightmarepod@gmail.com.
Do it.
Yes, please. And yeah, leave us a review and a rating on iTunes, because that really helps us get out there and helps more people find us. And, you know, like I say every week, I really want to build a community with this podcast. I really want to find all you guys who like to be spooked, just like me. And
who like to learn the history of things, too.
Yeah, because I'm a history nerd. If you guys haven't noticed, I tend to focus a little too much on the history of the area.
I don't think it's too much. But
I'll get better at it.
I love history as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so let us know what you guys think. Please leave us a rating and a review, and just, you know, hit us up. Look for us on social media and just come interact with us and have fun and be a part of the community.
I also want to say thanks, Sasha.
Thank you, Sasha. Yeah, she gave us such a wonderful, like, hype on her Instagram story. It was so great to see that.
Awesome.
Made me super happy.
You're the best.
Yes, thank you. All right, we'll see you guys all next week.
Bye.
Bye.